Well, hello random YouTube people. Has your AC unit stopped working? Is it blowing warm air instead of cold air? Is the fan spinning but nothing's working? Let me show you how to fix it. It's really quite simple. Stay tuned.
Subscribe.
So we used to have a home warranty company that cost $75 a month, and it covered the AC unit, sure, and $75 for every service call that you made. So if I wanted someone to come out and see the AC unit, I'd have to pay the $75 deductible in addition to my $75 a month, and that's just expensive. I was able to replace the capacitor, which is the problem part in this AC unit, for only $13 from a piece on Amazon. Let me show you how I did it. It's really quite simple. The capacitor is usually the problem when the AC unit's not cooling anymore. It's really simple. It takes like 10 minutes if you have all the parts. So let me show you how to do it. We have a problem. Our upstairs AC unit is not cooling. It should be going down to 72, but now it's up to 80, and the AC unit has been running for 2.5 hours. So we need to fix this problem. The fan is working. I can feel air blowing out, and it's cool air, but it is not cold. There's no way this temperature of air is going to bring down our upstairs to 72, which it should be. We need to get this fixed right away. The fan is blowing, and it's blowing kind of cool air out. It should be blowing hot air out if it's sucking the hot air out of the house. So something's wrong. These coils don't feel cold at all, and they should feel cold. They don't. So we probably have a problem with the capacitor. Let's open it up and figure it out. But first what we need to do is cut the power. Here's the power line coming from this unit. This is the upstairs unit right here. So let's go ahead and flip this panel open. All right. And so this big huge plug, we're just gonna pull it. There we go. And now the fan is slowing down. This unit is off. So get up out of there, out of the way. So on your AC unit, there should be some kind of panel here. Sometimes it has the warnings on it. This is probably going to be where our capacitor is. We don't have as many screws as we should. Probably need to get more of these to hold this on, but I've got, in my case, a 5/16 wrench. I'm just going to undo these bolts here. Now let's try to remove this panel. I'm just pulling slightly, and it's coming off. Just set that aside. Ooh, this looks beautiful. Look at all these spider webs and things. But this is our capacitor. This is probably the one that has the issues. And we're gonna test this out, see if we get any readings on this at all with our multimeter tool. But first, I'm gonna clean up a little bit. There's a lot of spider webs and dust, so I'm taking my leaf blower on a low setting and just blowing really slowly, getting this area a little clearer, better to work in. Before I do anything, I'm gonna take my screwdriver and kind of just like discharge some of the electricity that might be built up. If you'll notice, look right here. Look at this wire. Let me get a closer up shot. Can I get in there? Look at that wire. That's probably our problem right there. We'll still test the capacitor over here, but look at this thing. It's not even attached anymore, is it? Yep, it's not. So like the capacitor's not even getting any power from this cord, because this cord is just annihilated. This needs to be replaced. Got to figure out what kind of wire this is. But this capacitor should probably be replaced anyways. There's some corrosion on these terminals, and everything looks really pretty nasty here. But let's go ahead and unplug these and figure out if we have any activity in this capacitor at all with our multimeter tool. So I went upstairs and I got a toothbrush because you can't see some of the words here. There we go. So Herm stands for Hermetic capacitor, I believe. And then we have over here, can't see it very well. Let's see, I think like C for common. So this one's going to be the fan. The brown is the fan. I don't know if you can see that. My toothbrush can't get all the way back there. But that's the fan. So we got the Herm, the common, and the fan right here. First, of course, I'm going to detach the wires. Here's a better look at that thing. If I can get it on camera here, 1 second. Look at this wire. Wow. I'm surprised that didn't cause any kind of fire or something like that. That's pretty scary, isn't it? But this whole wire needs to be replaced with the new fittings on each end. May as well pull off that old bad fitting, just remembering where it was on this section right here. That needs to be cleaned up as well. This area here too is pretty concerning. You can see it's got a lot of damage to this little terminal. Not sure if I can use the terminal on the back side, but that's kind of burnt looking. Not sure what happened. The fan still works though, guys. The fan still works. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up some of this debris with my toothbrush again. After chatting with several HVAC people, they confirmed that I can use a different connection or terminal on the contactor. Even though it looks damaged, I can still use one of the other three. So here's a look at the multimeter tool we'll be using. So we have a black wire, and it's going to go into the COM. Wow, my fingers got dirty. And then a red wire into this little ohms section, and we're going to set it to the ohms area over here to get our readings. And we'll turn it on. We'll put the black on the common, and then the red on either the fan or the Herm setting, and see what readings we get. All right, so I have the black to the common and the red to the fan, and you see I'm getting a reading. On these multimeters, on the ohm setting, it should jump in numbers and then go back down to 1 if there is some activity in the line. Moving over to the Herm, and now I'm getting some negative readings, which means the current's flowing through the multimeter in the opposite direction. I don't love this multimeter. Let me give you a better one in the comments of this video. If I go back over to the fan, you can see there's a reading and it goes back down to 1, which means the fan is working. The Herm, I'm not so sure about. I'm going to replace the capacitor anyways, but let's take this thing off and see if we can test it outside of the AC unit. To get the capacitor off, there's this one little bolt right here. I'm not sure what size it is, so I'm going to have to go grab my set and figure it out. So it looks like this is a 1/4 hex bit. 1/4. Let's get that thing off. Let's go get a better look at this on the inside and see if we can retest the capacitor on the inside where it's easier to get to. While I wait for the capacitor to show up, I'm going to put this back on, but in the off position. This is how I pulled it off. You can see this reads on. We're going to flip it over so we can read the word off. That's going to mean it's off. This means on. This means off. Hopefully that makes sense. You just plug it back in, and then we're going to shut this box for now. That went on and up like that. When searching for a new capacitor, pay attention to a couple of numbers. This one, for example, is a 40/5. It's also 440 volts AC. This one has a particular serial number on it. Just try to find one that matches what you have in your AC unit. I found the exact replacement capacitor on Amazon, and it's inexpensive, which is awesome, but it's going to take several days to get here, and it's hot. So I decided to head over to the local do-it-yourself parts center. What better place to go to for a DIY guy than a DIY parts center for AC? Awesome. All right, everyone. I'm back from the AC parts store, and they told me on this wire that I took off that's, look at that. This is what happened to the other end of the wire. But this wire says 1000 volts. I don't know if you can tell on that. It's kind of hard to read. 1000 volt moisture resistant, and it's an AWG wire. I went to Lowe's and I looked online and I couldn't find anywhere that sells 1000 volt 16 gauge wire. Well, I have been assured by the AC parts supply store and by other people that a 600 volt cable will work as well for an AC unit. So here's a 600 volt cable, and what we've done is cut off the ends, just made it to a good length, and then crimped on these little plugs on the ends. So you can see this is how the plug is on this existing wire. And this one just kind of has a little insulation cover on top of it. Sorry for my dirty fingernails there. But so we have it crimped that way on both ends. So this 600 volt wire should work just fine, even though this one that came off said 1000 volts. So on the wire you can see that's been crimped onto each end. These little plugs look like this to begin with. So here's one. And you have to forgive my dirty fingernails. I am working on this AC unit right now, guys. So this is what it looks like, and you'll strip end just off a teeny section, probably just about 1/4 of an inch or maybe 1/2 inch. and then you're going to send the wire up through the hole, and then you use your little wire crimpers or your wire strippers to just crimp this down on. That's all you need to do to make a wire like this. All right. Now for the capacitor. So this is my capacitor. It's quite tall. The new one that I have is a little bit shorter and fatter. Either one is going to work.
Because these capacitors are both 40/5s at 440 volts AC.
I'm just gonna have to do a little bit of modification to make this fit on my existing AC unit. So this one, I wish I could show you my little multimeter tool. It was working fine yesterday, but now it is not working at all. So I wish I had another multimeter tool. I need to buy a new one, but I can show you it's just not working anymore. You take your black end and you hook it to the common. You can see the C for common. So I plug it into the common here, and I can just touch. It doesn't, plug it through the holes. Oh, look, I got the reading now. Thanks, it's working for you guys. It wasn't working for me inside, but you see how that jumped? Then it went back to the 1. That means that the fan is working. We don't know exactly how well it's working because this particular multimeter won't give me the exact number. But on these units, you'll see a 40 and 5. The fan should be operating at a 40, and the Herm should be operating at a 5. So I can't test that exactly with this particular multimeter. I need to get a better one, but with this one, the way you can tell is the number's going to jump up and then go back to 1. If there's no activity at all, it's not going to jump at all. So back to common again. Let's try that one more time. Black to the common, and then red to the fan. Ooh. And see, it didn't do it that time. You just saw it. It worked before. So this little multimeter tool is just not reliable. So I'd recommend you get a much fancier one. I'll put the link in the description to one that would be good for AC unit testing. But see, this is just not working. Even on the brand new capacitor, doing that same thing, spin around the common. So if I touch the common and then touch the fan, oh, look, you see it jumped? And it keeps climbing, so it's working over there. The fan's working. And then the Herm, it did jump and it went back, didn't it? Very unreliable little tool here. But anyways, that's how you could tell with this kind of multimeter. If you have one of these, that's the best you can do. I'd recommend getting a better one. So before we go install this new capacitor, I'm gonna go ahead and write the date on here. It is May, so 5, and it's the 15th, and that's 2024. And this is, just to reiterate, this is a 40/5. All right, cool. Should I write my initials? Let's say DIY Bry. Why not? That was a really bad Y. I'm trying to write through the camera lens and it's not going so well. This is a special Y right there. All right, let's go install this.
All right, we are back at the AC unit. Here's our new capacitor. So this is too fat to fit into this little loop here. So what we're gonna do is take this one off and we're going to put in a new piece so that it will fit this fatter capacitor. So let's first take our 1/2 inch hex adapter to our little wrench here, or our screwdriver. Let's just loosen this all the way off. All right, we're gonna keep that screw. So what we have is this galvanized strap. It's called a galvanized hanger strap, more specifically. And with these, you just get it to the length you want and you're just gonna bend it back and forth and it's gonna snap off. So I'm going to measure, probably off camera, distance around this capacitor so that we can get this mounted here. So we've got a distance that should work, and I'm just bending this back and forth like this, and eventually it's going to snap off. Just like that. So here's my custom little hanger bracket that I've made. And now just a matter of attaching this screw to the existing hole that we took it off from. All right, just give it a little spin there. So it's kind of away from everything else. That will work great. Time to rewire. Now, if you'll remember, the burnt up wire was connected to this terminal. You can use any one of these terminals. It's kind of what they're there for. So I'm going to pick one of these other ones over here that's away from the burnt up area, and you just take your new wire, and this is my wire for the common. It's going to go here, but I'll plug it into this port on the terminal, if you will, right here. And then I'm going to go to this port on the common. There we go. On the brown was for the fan. The fan only has one port up there. Make sure we're nice and snug. And then the last one is this blue one, which was for the Herm, and that connects over here. I'm gonna pick this port right here on the outside edge. All right, that should be everything. Just to be safe, I'm gonna put the panel back on for now, but let's go flip on the switch and see if everything works.
And you'll probably want to be smarter than I am and install the panel in the right way. I have mine upside down. Now going back to the power source, we're going to make sure our plug is in the on position. Remember, if you can read off, then that's off. If you can read on, it's on.
All right, I have no activity yet. Let's go turn on the inside and see if it works. Well, we have a sleeping baby in the other room over there, so you're gonna be quiet, but you can see this unit's completely off. So let's switch it to cool. Let's heat. Cool. But you can see our target temperature is 74, and we're at 68.5. It's early in the morning, so let's knock it down a little bit and see if we turn on. Oh, I heard something. I can hear the fan is blowing again. You can hear. Now let's go back outside and look at the fan. There we go. Now the fan's spinning. Ooh, and now I feel some hot air this time. So it's, oh man. There is some disconnect between the app and the wall unit, and it's just not cool or not hot enough right now for this to stay on. So let's wait till later in the day. All right, I think I got the issue between the security system and the thermostat all figured out. I now have a target temperature of 67, and it is cooling. I hear the fan running. You can hear it from the return. And we've got some air ducts in here. And the air that's blowing out is significantly cooler than it was yesterday. So we are working, everyone. Getting cool air coming out of the bathroom vent as well. Ooh, and it's really noticeable in the office here. This office space is a lot warmer than the rest of the house because it's a bonus room, and I don't think they insulated the walls very well. Maybe we'll do another DIY on that, but the cold air coming out of the floor right here, super cold. You can tell that this is working great. Oh yeah, and back outside at the AC unit, this is freezing cold now when you touch it. We are working great. The capacitor is replaced, and that fixed the problem. Getting close to that target temperature. The temperature is going down. Getting closer. That's what she said. We are now at the target temperature of 67, but I still hear the fan going. So it might just be cooling it. Oh, right as I speak, it went off. No more fan noise. My son's sick, and the AC being fixed is going to be a godsend for that. So we all sleep upstairs, and now our upstairs AC is fixed. I'm so stoked about that. And it was so easy. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much for watching. Remember to click that like button, click share, and share it with all of your friends and family and anyone you've ever met or anyone you ever will meet. And remember to
Subscribe.
Subscribe.